All right, we are back for another Friday financial wrap up with Mr. Michael Zuber. How are you, Michael?
Man, I look forward to these each week. They're actually the last thing I do before I take a couple of days off. So I appreciate the opportunity to do this with you. Thank you so much.
I got to say, it's great to have you back. You were on. Did you have a great vacation? You were gone for 2 weeks. Do you have a
Yeah,
good?
one small tweak. I don't take vacations. I take trips.
Yes,
Don't I? What would I take a vacation from? So I take trips. Sorry.
you take trips. I love it. Well, I got to say, I'm happy to have you back because every week I was doing it by myself, and it took several hours of preparation and reading. And oh shit, I got to do a good job for the audience. So thank you for being back. Let's get right into it. Now, we are recording this on June the 27th on Thursday. This is for Friday the 28th. A lot happening this week. The big thing Thursday night, mano y mano, President Biden, President Trump, the big presidential debate. Your thoughts and your take this week. What are what do you think is going to happen on Thursday night?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that are going to happen. They're gonna yell over each other, right? They're gonna both of them are gonna talk over each other. Um, Politicians generally don't answer the questions that are asked, which I always thought was comical that people let them get away with that. I think the audience is gonna see the candidates and figure out for themselves, are they all there? I think there's a general strong opinion that the candidates are old and not as sharp as one should be. But both of them are in their upper 70s, I think, maybe even 80s. And it's just how the human condition works. So I think what I'm looking for is either validation that there's some slippage, or maybe some validation that maybe not. I think that's, at the end of the day, I think that could be market moving if one of them performs poorly. And I mean, if it goes really bad, one of them could be swapped out, do a hot swap. So we'll see. I have no idea, but and let's be clear. I'm not going to watch the debate. I think politicians yelling at each other is not interesting to me. So I will not be watching, but I will be reading multiple articles from both sides of the track to see if I could net out any semblance of meaning. That's what I'll be doing.
I want to say that I will be watching, and I'm actually going with some friends on Saturday night to UFC. I know nothing about the card. Tonight is the UFC for me, and I will be entertained. And
Nice.
again, I agree that it's probably going to be a shouting match. Let me ask you this though, straight up
Mm-hmm.
from your, and I know you and I are both very politically, I think, moderate,
Mm-hmm.
um, and maybe lean financially conservative. I mean, again, doesn't really matter politically, but let me ask you, one or the other,
Mm.
do you believe that in terms of interest rates, the Fed policy going forward over the next 4 years, do you see a difference with one side or the other with regard to how it influences interest rates, how it influences the real estate market specifically?
Yeah, I don't think there's any. I don't. I think it's pretty black and white. I think one of the candidates is very much a builder and that's kind of his background, right? It's where he cut his
Yep.
teeth. And I think the other one has proven to be, let's give away money, let's cancel debt, all very inflationary things. I think we're in a very slippery spot where we let me just say it this way: we could reignite inflation with the policies that the winner of this election does. The, we could be repeating the 80s, which was not fun, where the Fed president, probably the person after Powell, has to take us to double digits. This presidential election is important. It will fundamentally set us on a path. Now that path could be, it's going to be uncomfortable no matter what. I don't want to make it sound like the president the next 4 years is it's going to be easy, because it's not. We have all this money in the system that it's going to work out whoever's there. I mean, you could have a dog as the president; it's still going to be tough to get through. But we could have a president that has at least historically wanted to pass policies that causes inflation to take off again. And that would be horrible. That would be horrible.
Time will tell. Let's stay tuned. Let's get into the notes of the show. Let's talk about, again, we're recording on Thursday, big number on Friday. Talk about PCE. What do you see? What do you think the expectations are?
Well, the first thing to point out is every month we get 3 readings. Typically CPI, Consumer Price Index, comes out. Typically PPI, Producer Price Index, comes out the day after. And then there's a gap until the end of the month when Personal Consumption Expenditure comes out. And let's just be honest, the PPI and CPI this month, all 4 readings year on year and month on month were better than expected. Just a fact. Inflation was better. But none of that matters. The Fed has told us repeatedly that the one and only number, or the most important number, or whatever you want to call it, is PCE core. So we could have a great month on every other reading and PCE core goes the wrong direction. It all goes for naught. So tomorrow's number is important. It's critical. And let's not forget, at the end of July, we have another Fed meeting. And this PCE reading, I have to check the schedule. It might be the last reading before the meeting. There might be one right before it, but it might be the last reading before the meeting. So it's important. No other way around it. It's an important reading.
It's an important reading. Well, we will stay tuned. That number does come out Friday morning. We are recording this on Thursday. Let's continue. Let's talk about Fed Speak. What is Fed Speak and what happened this week?
Yeah, so the Fed really has a couple of tools to impact rates, the consumers, all of these things. Every 6 weeks or so, they meet, do their policy meeting. Last month, they did not raise rates. They gave us a dot plot, all of those things. But in subsequent weeks, they all get in front of microphones and do press tours and events and speaking engagements. So what did we get this week? We had, I think it was 11 different Fed presidents of the 19 speak on various different topics. And if I were to net them out, they were generally hawkish, meaning no rate cut July, no rate cut September. Most of them are at this point saying post-election, best case. Some of them are talking about having to go higher, right? Michelle Bowman said it's not out of the realm to even go higher. But I would argue of the Fed speeches I read this week, I have no indication that a September rate cut is coming. Now, the economy could, explode and tank. So, you never know. But based on this week's reading of 10 or 11 speeches, I think the most optimistic Fed rate cut is November at this point, post-election.
After the election, November, you're still calling for 50 basis points?
Yeah, I really think the Fed's going to be late. I think the economy is slowing down more than they expect. I think if there wasn't an election, they might cut in September. I think they're going to wait just to not be seen as influencing. And bingo, bango, we get a 50 basis point cut in November. Yeah.
Let me throw you a curveball. So if, as an example, the next unemployment reading comes in like crazy, unemployment spikes.
Defines. So we're at 4%. What would be a spike? And by the way, we get that reading, I think, at the end of next week, I think.
Okay.
So what does it have to go to?
Let's just say it spikes. You tell me, is it 20%? Is 20% considered a spike? I know that we were off 3 weeks ago, right? There was we were off by about 10%.
Yeah, on the weekly unemployment. Yeah,
on the weekly. Yeah. You break it down. What do you think would be a spike, and what could actually, in fact, pull in a Fed lowering the rate sooner, or is there?
Okay.
Is there
So the question I think you're asking is what would cause me to say a September rate cut? That's what you're asking.
That's what I'm asking. Yep.
Yeah, because I don't think a July rate cut is very likely, pretty much no matter what. But let's say September is on the table, to your point.
Okay.
So if we get a June jobs number, which comes out the first week of July, and an August number, which comes out the first week of September, right? So they're always off a month. And let's say the unemployment rate is, well, let's just say it goes to 4 or 5 in 2 months. We will get a September rate cut.
Got it.
No question.
And that's the only thing really that you could foresee and forecast that unemployment number spikes. Other than that,
every other economic number, it doesn't come that fast.
Got
If
it.
the job market breaks, like I talked on the daily financial news this morning that the weekly unemployment is taking the stairs, right? One step at a time, 200 to 210 to 220 to now 233. If it took the elevator and went like 233 to 470, 510, hello.
That's what I'm looking for. Not to anticipate or hope it does that, but just understanding, okay, that's probably the metrics that moves the needle. I love it, Michael. Thank you for that breakdown. And I love the elevator stairs analogy. Let's keep going. Case-Shiller. Who is Case-Shiller? What do they do? What happened this week?
Case-Shiller, Nobel Prize winning economist, I believe. He's famous for Case-Shiller Index, which does a national, a 20 city and a 10 city housing price forecast, I guess. And it came out this week and it showed that home prices were up 6.6%. If it might have been 6.7% year on year. The one thing you have to understand about Case-Shiller is it's old. This was at April data. We're basically in July. Case-Shiller, when it's reported, in my opinion, is actually not very valuable. But when you look at the index over years, it's actually extremely valuable because you can see, selling seasons and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So the fact that April values were up 6.7%, not very meaningful to me because I think the numbers will be different for May and June because of where interest rates went.
Yep.
But yeah, it's, just another month that the Crash Bros were wrong. I mean, that's, it's where we're at.
Let me ask you, this looking forward, Redfin, last week I reported that, and from your reports, of course, Redfin and Zillow both basically saying over the next 12 months, it's probably going to be, negative growth, but they only said like 1%, 1.1%, kind of a nothing burger in your words. Do you agree? Do you think that is?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been long since calling, flat for basically years. So,
yes,
plus or minus 1.5% on a national level, it's nothing burger. We'll talk at the end of this. I think there's some very unique things about the second half of this year. I mean, again, starting tonight, that's even going to make it more slow, right? It's even going to, it's going to get, I think the housing market's about to freeze. It's about to lock up.
It gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah, just because a lot of folks are going to be just all in on this election. Everybody has a passionate opinion, and they're not going to want to make financial commitments because they're not sure if their guy's going to win.
Yep.
And, we'll talk at the end of it. I think it's a really great opportunity for, a very small percentage of us, myself included, yourself included, because we just go against the grain. When everybody goes left, we go right. And we'll talk about that at the end.
I love it. Let's keep going. Let's talk about new home sales. What happened this week?
Brainerd crashed. I think it was down like 10, 11%. Again, new home sales were expected to be like 660,000. It came in at 610 or 611. Interest rates matter. I mean, we've been telling you for a long time, 7% interest rates, even with mortgage rates buy down. Home builders, if they want to sell, are going to have to build smaller homes. The other thing that most people aren't telling you is we are seeing haves and have-nots. Basically, the public builders, the KBs, the Lennars of the world, they're growing at about, small single digits. So they're positive. What we're really seeing is the small and mid-sized builders who don't have stocks, that can't go to the market and borrow, they're losing. They're just sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So again, new home sales being down is more about the weak or the small losing. The big are doing just fine. It's a terrible place we are now, where the biggest are winning and everybody else is losing. It's kind of a terrible place to be.
Very interesting. We will continue to watch. Let's talk about pending home sales, existing home sales. What happened?
Same deal. Existing home sales, you got, I mean, if you look at this one, they were down 7.7% last month, down 2.3% this month, right? Two big negative numbers going down. This is the thing I was looking at again to validate that rates matter. 7% bad, 6% good. The things we've talked about, just more evidence that call is right. But I also think as we inch towards this national election, presidential election, more and more people are going to pull back. So
Yep.
pending home sales, existing home sales, it's just gonna go the wrong. It's just gonna slow down.
Yeah. You've been calling it. We've been talking about this for months on months. Let's talk about active listings. What did you see this week?
Yeah, active listings. This is again just another point that interest rates matter. People are pulling back. Inventory is up about 35% year on year. Now, all inventory is not created equal. I think there's a disproportionate amount above the median, busted Airbnbs, things like that. There's also some people that want to sell that don't need to sell. So we're going to see a lot of aged inventory roll off when they expire. But yeah, there's no doubt there's more inventory. There's less buyers. There's less demand, which really leads to why I'm so excited. I think there's a certain pool of buyers. Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 15. Definitely one rental at a time fans, right? These are the real estate investors.
Yep.
We're the folks that do the work every day. We have a buy box. We understand creative financing.
Yep.
And we're going to find that motivated seller. I mean, Matt, the mortgage guy, I think I've told this story 3 times, but it's just so accurate. There's a listing in Sacramento that he is actively looking at. It's been on the market 88 days. It's had 3 price reductions. The owner owns it free and clear, and they want to sell. Guess what? Offer seller financing, 10% down, seller financing, 4% interest.
Love it.
You know what? They don't like that. Offer the 50, 40, 10. Give them 60% cash, right? 10% down, 50% from a bank, Velocity Mortgage, and have the owner carry 40%. It's better than sitting there, right? At some times, and it's markets like this that get slow or go ice cold, that I get extremely excited because I am willing to write lots of offers. I am willing to get told no lots of times, and I keep following up. It's just how I got wealthy. It's just the same monotonous process over and over again. So for the investors that have been doing the work the last 3 years and maybe not getting anything, your time is coming. It's right here. It's the next 4 or 5 months. So I'm personally excited, and I'm not even working that hard. But I know there's a lot of people that are going to get their first deal, or maybe they're going to get a seller finance deal when they didn't think it was possible. We're going to see a lot of wealth built from people who follow what we talk about, what we teach, and what we live every day. It's just because, dude, we've seen this movie before. I've seen sellers markets become buyers markets. I've seen commercial real estate blow up before. I've seen all of this. It's like, well, we're watching the same movie again. Time to get out the popcorn and have some fun.
I love it. I love it. So well said. We're going to finish strong. We're going to talk about rates and then again, talk about opportunity. Plus, we have a couple of really big announcements for the channel, for the One Rental at a Time community and for the channel here. So stay tuned. The big best stuff is coming. Let's talk about rates. Rates matter. Talk about rates this week.
Yeah, I think rates are staying right around 7%, unless, to your earlier question, unemployment breaks higher. And again, let's be very clear. Let's get this people what they need. You will see that break in the Thursday jobless numbers. Every Thursday, 5:30 a.m. Pacific, 8:30 Eastern, we get weekly unemployment numbers. You are going to see it break. And what's a break? Call it north of 350, right? I think we got 233 this morning. So if we see some, a 50% jump week on week, that's going to signal we have a problem.
Very interesting. And only because doing the news by myself the last couple of weeks, I did notice that range of like 220, 230. We had a breakout at 244. That was kind of a big deal. It was 20%. The rates came down. They went sub 7. They were like 6.8, 6.9 in there. Do you believe, at least for the next couple of weeks, that we're that 6.9, 7, 7.1,
6.9 to 7.1? Yeah.
That's the range. Okay. That's kind of the new normal right now for the summer.
Yeah, I saw a post from Lance Lambert. We've been basically at 7% for 21 months, right? We had that little run to 7.5. We had the little dip to 6.75. But when you zoom out, we've basically been 7 for almost 2 years.
And a big unemployment number or hitting a miss, an unexpected higher than expected, that potentially could be market moving going in these summer months on Thursdays.
Yep, exactly.
There you go. We just explained the formula, folks. Michael just explained the formula right there. I love it. Let's talk about huge opportunity. I know that I'm excited. I love what we're doing. I'm getting all kinds of calls from agents, deals that have fallen out of escrow 2 or 3 times. Hey, would you buy it? Would your group buy it? Do you have a buyer for it? I'm getting listing interviews or people that I talked to 3 months ago. It's not selling. They're getting ready to fire their agent or the listing's expiring. I'm getting those opportunities. My value in the marketplace as a GSD, get stuff done, broker, investor, my value and worth just went up in the marketplace. Talk about opportunity and then also make the announcements, what we're doing, what we got coming next week.
Yeah, I think there's so much in that. Again, the market that we are in is not for most people. Let's be very clear. Most people will sit on the sidelines and do nothing.
Yep.
Where the other percent will make moves, they will get creative, they will GSD, they will get stuff done. I love that GSD. I love that. And those people are the ones that get rich. Those are the ones that get wealthy. And I am more excited for the next 5 months than I have been for the last 3 or 4 years. I generally I do about 1 real estate transaction a year because I'm not working that hard. Generally speaking, it's October to December, right? This year, it might be September to December. I'm going to find something like I always do. And it's going to be a great deal. It'll probably have some creative financing in it. Because again, let's be clear. I don't have to do another deal.
Right.
But I like living by example. I like proving that what I've talked about works, and I'm sure we'll find an opportunity to show that. So I'm excited. And then as far as the announcement goes, Ty has been working endlessly on a show called Buying Vegas. We now have 4 episodes, as I understand it, in the can. Because we have that, we are going to be releasing episode 1 at 6 a.m. on July 4th. So 6 a.m. Pacific, so 9 o'clock Eastern. It will be the only video that goes up on July 4th. I'll probably still do my daily financial news, but that's live. It's not a video. It'll be the only video that goes up. So if you want to see what Olivia and I have been, and Ty have been working on for, it feels like 4 months.
Yep.
Episode 1, 6 a.m., July 4th.
I love it. And I got to say, folks, it is absolutely great content. It's behind the scenes. It's Michael, Olivia at home. Some of you may know Olivia. Most of you do not. It really shows her role, how as a power couple, a husband and wife team, how they've built this dream of financial freedom. And so financial independence, right? That's what we're all working on. That's what everybody's, strives for. That's what this channel is about. And so how appropriate, Michael, that you're releasing and premiering episode 1 on Independence Day. So
there you go.
I love it.
That.
Talk about school community. Last thing, we're doing something with school community a week and a half from now.
Yeah. So one of the things that I am particularly passionate about is growing a school community 1 rental at a time to over 1,000 members. That's my stated goal. I want to get there within 3 years. We're at 164, 65 today. I'm trying to find unique ways to add value each and every week. Just this week, we had April Crosley. We have Hemlane going today. Matt, the mortgage guy, tomorrow. Bo Eckstein on Saturday. I'm going on Sunday. Frank's going on Monday. So we got like 6 days in a row. But one of the things I'm looking forward to, I think it's on July 7th at 8 a.m. You're going to have an opportunity to talk with this gentleman right here, Ty, about creative financing. He gave you the greatest treat. He gave you 7 or 8 hours of creative financing, something that he charges hundreds of dollars for. He said, I want to give to the community. So that's been available in the community now for over a month. And what Ty wants to do is come in and say, hey, guys, got any questions? Got anything going on? So if you haven't taken a chance to join school, do it. If you haven't seen the videos yet, watch them. But you're going to get the opportunity to talk to the master, somebody with 30 years experience, somebody that's done sub 2, somebody that's done land contract, lease options. He's done them all. He'll give you the nuts and bolts. He'll tell you the truth. He'll tell you the risks. He's not trying to sell you anything. He's just trying to, make you aware of the ups and the downs and the risks and the opportunities. So, July 7th, I think 8 a.m. Pacific. Don't miss it.
I love it. Folks, get involved with the school community. Michael, thank you for all that you do. Have a great weekend. Thanks so much.
You got it. Take care.